The afternoon sun beat down on the nearly empty highway. Cars zoomed by without slowing, their drivers too busy or too indifferent to notice the sleek black sedan. Parked on the shoulder, its hazard lights blinked weakly. And beside it stood a well-dressed man, arms crossed, checking his expensive watch in frustration. The man was Charles Whitman, a wealthy businessman known in the city for his luxury hotels and sharp suits. But right now, none of that mattered. His car had a flat tire, and despite his fortune, he was utterly helpless. Sweat dripped down his forehead as he waved at passing cars, but no one stopped. Finally, a dusty old pickup slowed and pulled over. Out stepped a young black man named Jamal, dressed in worn jeans and a t-shirt stained from a day of labor. He carried a small toolkit and a kind smile. "You need a hand, sir?" Jamal asked politely. Charles hesitated. His eyes traveled over Jamal's clothes, his truck, and then back to his own polished shoes. A flicker of doubt crossed his face. To him, Jamal didn't look like someone who could handle an expensive car. "I don't think you'll be able to help," Charles said coldly, his tone sharper than necessary. "This is a delicate vehicle." For a moment, Jamal considered walking away. He felt the sting of judgment in the man's voice. But instead, he took a deep breath. "A flat tire is a flat tire," he said calmly. "Let me take a look." Charles reluctantly stepped aside. Jamal knelt down, inspected the damage, and got to work. His hands moved quickly and skillfully. Within minutes, he had the tire replaced and tightened, all while Charles stood silently, realizing his earlier assumptions might have been wrong. When Jamal finished, he stood and wiped his hands on a rag. "You're good to go," he said with a nod. Charles reached into his wallet and pulled out a crisp bill. "Here," he said, handing Jamal a small amount of cash. "For your trouble." Jamal looked at the money, then shook his head. "I didn't help you for money, sir. I just couldn't drive by and leave someone stranded." He gave a small smile, turned, and walked back toward his truck. For the first time in a long while, Charles felt humbled. That young man had helped him when dozens of others hadn't, and he refused even a small payment. Something about Jamal's quiet dignity stayed in his mind long after he drove away. Days passed. Charles couldn't shake the memory. Who was that young man? Why had he walked away without expecting anything? The thought troubled him. In his world, people often did favors with strings attached. But Jamal's kindness had been genuine. 1 week later, Charles spotted Jamal again. He was working outside a small community garage, changing oil and fixing old cars. His clothes were greasy, his hands covered in dirt. Yet his face lit up with a smile as he chatted with customers. Charles parked and walked over. "Jamal, isn't it?" The young man looked up in surprise. "Oh, it's you. Everything okay with the car?" Charles nodded. "Better than okay. I came here to talk to you." He paused. "You wouldn't take my money that day. But I can see you're hardworking, and you deserve more than people like me assuming the worst about you." Jamal tilted his head. "Sir, I don't need charity." "This isn't charity," Charles replied firmly. "It's recognition." Charles explained that he owned a chain of auto service centers across the state. He had been looking for someone trustworthy, someone who knew cars but also valued people. Jamal, with his skill and his heart, fit the role perfectly. "I'd like to offer you a job," Charles said. "Not just any job. A management position, training and support included. You'll be in charge of running one of my centers." Jamal's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" "As serious as that flat tire was," Charles chuckled. For the first time, Jamal's composure broke, and tears filled his eyes. He thought of his family, the bills waiting at home, the dreams he had put on hold because opportunities never came his way. Now, one act of kindness had opened a door he never imagined. A few months later, Jamal was standing proudly in front of his very own auto service center. The grand opening banner hung above the door, and customers lined up to shake his hand. Charles stood beside him, clapping warmly. "You changed my life," Jamal whispered. "Oh?" Charles replied, "You changed mine. You showed me that real worth isn't measured in money or status. It's measured in kindness." The crowd applauded as Jamal cut the ribbon, his smile brighter than the afternoon sun. His life truly had changed forever, all because he chose to help a stranger in need, even when that stranger doubted him. We are all equal as human beings. Prejudice blinds us, but kindness opens hearts. Hate divides, but kindness heals.